with all the changes in technology and AI and all these filters and stuff like that, I feel like it's going to cause a lot of depression because that is not who people are. And if they have to view themselves through these filters all the time to feel good, that is not a positive thing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Wealth Within. I am Michelle Blaze and I have with me today my very, very good friend, Charleen Larkin. She is a certified craftsman master photographer. And today we are going to talk about not only showing up in your business, but showing up for your family, for your health, and in life in general. So thank you so much for Charleen for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Michelle. I'm really excited to be a part of this. I've been watching a lot of your YouTubes and the excitement of listening and enjoying the presentations that you've been bringing forward. Those conversations there's enlightening and definitely entertaining, and I've been getting a lot out of it. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad that you are now going to be a part of it because I feel like you really have a lot to offer everybody you've been a business owner for how long now?
Oh, my goodness. I have to think about that. Well, I've been a professional photographer full time for 35 something years, but I've been in the business.
Yeah,
wow.
your whole career, really.
My whole career, absolutely. I've owned my own studio now for 23 years. I've just celebrated the 23rd anniversary of Charleen's Portrait Studio. That's located in the quiet corner of Connecticut. And so that's pretty exciting. And I'm on my fourth studio.
Oh, and I remember your second studio, I think, is when I first met you, when my little twins were itty bitty and you used to do I remember they did like the pumpkin things and the Easter and the chicks and all the little stuff that we used to do.
Fun. We still do quite a bit of that. Like we just finished up doing live ducklings with the children, and that's so much fun. We built a pond. Thankfully, I haven't flooded this studio yet, but I have flooded my other one, which was not a pretty sight. So, but yeah, we still do ducklings. Our favorite thing is definitely our Santa experience for the children. We have a lot of it fun and inviting things that we love to bring people into and share.
And different and out of the box. And I think that's part of being an entrepreneur. And what we're going to talk about today is showing up in your business. And I do think that part of that is, stepping outside of the box. And I love how being a photography is a big part of showing up for your business, especially as an entrepreneur.
For sure. I mean, if you're just throwing selfies and snapshots out there and stuff, people know that you're not serious, because that's not really a serious, way of capturing an image of yourself. Sometimes they come out great. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who are really good with selfies, but for the most part, it's all about the lighting, the exposure, and making sure that you have a good angle expression. You have the correct angle. So there's a lot of things that really can help to get somebody to show up better for their business. And I always tell people, if you're not getting the type of customer that you want, then you really should be looking at what you're sharing and showing, because that's what you're attracting. So if you're not, if you're not attracting a higher level clientele for what you want, then you are not experiencing a higher level of service. It's important for a business to show up for their customers, to be able to show them that they're professional, and a snapshot just doesn't do it. Granted, yes, it's great if you're going to throw it into a story or something to show it behind the scenes or what's going on. But if you're really in the marketing end of things and you want to attract customers, then you're going to need a good image to be able to show who you are. Like, I can flip through so many Turnpike Buyers, Shoppers Guides, magazines out this way, and I can tell you who definitely needs an upgraded image, just because it's just not capturing them, and it doesn't do them much, justice when either image isn't clear, or you can tell that, they didn't have the right angle. It's not lit properly. And then you compare it against some other people who have actually had professional images, and boy, they just stand out like a sore thumb, and really makes you say, okay, I'm going to go with that guy versus that guy.
Yeah.
It
It's a
does make a
first
difference.
impression. It's people's first impression. And I've also seen people, and I know you have too, where you can tell that those photos, especially if you know them, you're like, yeah, I know that photo is about 10 years old. It's time for an update.
Agreed. And I have some of my customers who are still using those images for a while and stuff. So yeah, it is time for an upgrade, but the image still works very well. But yeah, there is, and then there are some who definitely just need to kind of like just get a freshen upper, because their hairstyle is totally different, or they have no hair. Some things change with time.
That's
So
true.
it's a matter of, and there are some really creative ways to photograph people who are bald and who are, sporting a different style, whether it be, a tattoo artist. You want to get creative with those people as well, because you want to show the artistic side of them as well as, their professional side. So it's combining those two to make sure that that image is coming across. You have one image to tell a story in, and we need to do that all in just one image with good lighting, good posing, and, telling that story, captivating that person. If they're too far back, then you're going to get a double chin. But if they're leaning in a photograph, it's surprisingly attracting to other people, because of the fact that when you lean in, it means that you're engaged and that, you're interested in what people have to say. So people don't realize it, but when you're leaning into a photograph, you're actually engaging someone. So though they're looking at the image, they already feel engaged just by looking at your photograph.
Well,
so some tips, tricks.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you just said, because your images are telling the story, not just of you, but of your business, the type of business you offer, the way that you do business, the vibe of the business, who you work with, and all that stuff. And I love that, because I think you and I both read that Story Brand book, and we were into the, and obviously it holds true for everything. And being a website designer and working with you, it's like people don't realize when they go to a website how dull and lifeless it can look. And really, the images make the difference. And people can tell nowadays when you've used stock photography and when you've actually put in the time to get a photo shoot of not just you, but of your business and of your products. And people can also a lot of times tell if they haven't taken the time to take good, especially product photography. And I know you do some of that as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree. You can definitely tell a stock image. It doesn't even match them, really. It's off brand for who they are and off location. It doesn't even fit the location of where people are living, or, the lifestyle that they're leading. So a good image, a local image sometimes, especially if you're a local business, makes a big difference, So, and what I love too is, like, we have a local flower shop that every so often posts, Anna, it's your time for a rose or something like that. And it's like, I love that, because they're engaging with their customers and they're posting that image and people are sharing it like crazy. It's that type of engagement, and it's that type of local feeling that you need. They're not posting some stock image. I mean, they're just going outside, taking a picture of their board, and it's their building, it's their board, and the location. So it works beautifully. So why can't you do the same thing? But maybe it's you standing in front of your building. Maybe it's you standing with a customer and congratulating them. A nice, good image always makes such a big difference. Maybe congratulating somebody for doing something special in the town and stuff. So, when you're a business owner, you have a lot of opportunities to be present in the community through local business organizations, or even, helping out with food pantries or churches and things, and volunteering your time, because that too is your brand. How you come out to your community and how you share makes a big difference. And
How
you
you
want
show
to
up.
capture all that. And wow, does it make you feel good when you can show up for your community and do special things with them? It really makes it such a nice difference.
And I think it's the combination. It's the combination of those like social media shots that we were just talking about, that you're taking yourself because you're in the moment. I mean, you're not going to have a photographer around for those in the moment, but it's, to me, I always find that it's that mixed with these professional, more, I hate to say the word static, but even video, because like you do video, you do drones and all that other stuff. So it's like the mix of them all together that I think puts the whole picture.
Yes. And that's what
it puts that picture together of who you are, of what you're offering, who you're offering it to, and how you're offering it.
It does make a really big difference. And you're right. It is a combination of things. It's a combination of making sure that you capture or have a great image for yourself to be able to put out there into the community so people can recognize you. And then there are the images that you capture, in the moment, on location, congratulating, put those into your stories so people can start seeing the stories of what's going on behind the scenes. And of course, it's so nice to be able to have the attention of somebody who understands how to craft that for you, how to create something that's going to look good and give you multiple images. So when people normally come to me for like executive portraits or for their business and stuff, normally we sit down and we go over what their business does, what they want to achieve from the images, and then we build from there. So sometimes it'll be, capturing them in multiple outfits in different locations, something formal, something casual, but building a library of images that they can use throughout the year. Now that they're not going to take all these images and throw them up all at once because that would do no good, but they build this library of images and then they take the bits here and there, and they slowly release them out. And when you start to slowly release the images out, what it does is it just keeps your customers entertained. It keeps them up to date with what's happening, something new. Oh, look at that new image. Oh, I like that with her sitting on the floor, doing her work and stuff. Things like that show more variety of who you are professionally, and then your behind the scenes is what you would do. And we could talk about that even as far as things that you should be capturing with your camera or your cell phone and putting up in your stories to help, continuously tell your business's story. Yeah,
I love that, because that is the story of your business. You go from meeting the client comes in, and the end product. And it doesn't matter if you're making soap or building websites or whatever, there's still a process to that. So, it's like documenting, it's just documenting that process so people see all the stuff that goes into it.
Yeah. It's like they say, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. So if you
I never heard that. I like that.
I love that saying. So if you're not putting your best foot forward, you're not, saying, hey, here I am. I'm here for you. I want to do business with you. I can help you, then, if people aren't seeing that, well, then they don't know to even look. They don't even know what you do. So, you really do have to, you got to get loud. You got to get loud, and you got to put your face out there. Today I just did an executive portrait session, and during the session, she said to me, she goes, I'm not used to this. This is definitely out of my comfort zone. And I said, oh my gosh, this is great, because the minute you put yourself out of your comfort zone is the minute you start to grow.
Yeah, that's where the change happens. That's where change happens.
I'm so excited for her, because I knew immediately this is going to just make such a world of difference for her moving forward in the direction that she wants to go in. And her direction is pretty exciting. I mean, even for myself, I've been putting myself, outside of my comfort zone. Hello, Michelle, I'm sitting with you on this video call right now. And because I've been forcing myself to get in front of the camera more, because I've been building my presentations, and I have a keynote speaker presentation that I've been working on for a couple of years now. And it's not just your regular 90-minute like little session. I mean, it's pretty intense and it's pretty involved. And I'm really excited about it because of all the moving pieces that I have designed for this. So it's scary and it's exciting at the same time. And so I know it's going to work because it just will.
Yeah. And you've already been speaking. So now it's just like taking that speaking and now you're moving to a whole other level. Speaking of a whole other level. I talk about wealth all the time on my podcast because it is called The Wealth Within Us. So let's get down to the money. So when you are, going for whether it be to update your website, to get new photography, new images, new video, whatever it is, like that is an investment in yourself. And when you're investing in yourself, you're not only upscaling your own wealth, but you're showing people that you are worth it. Like, hey, look at me. Like, this is what you're going to get. This is worth the investment that you're going to make with me because I'm going to treat you. And I know you do because I've worked with you. And I know that that's exactly how you treat people. You treat people like they are the star. They are the hero in the hero's journey.
Well, because it's about them and it's about bringing out the very best of them. And I always have this saying, when someone steps in front of my camera, I always look for that moment of the sparkle, of the give back, of that special shine that they have. And sometimes they don't even realize they do it. But honestly, from the moment somebody walks in my door and I start talking to them, I'm looking for it. I'm already looking for their natural cues and for what really makes them stand out that little bit. They might have this cute little eyebrow raise, or, they just might have that smile of a certain angle or direction that I know is what I want to capture. So those are things that I pay attention to all the time. And the other thing too is, it's going to sound weird, but I fall in love with every single one of my customers that's in front of my camera.
Yeah.
Because when you love somebody, it's like you just want only the best for them and you look for the best in them. It's like you feel so happy, you're just, and that feeling of being able to capture that in images is so important to me. So, that's kind of my trick. Not even a trick. It just happens. I get so excited to photograph you, to bring out the best in you, that it's hard not to fall in love with you, to really want to make sure that you give absolutely the best for your customers. And so I know that sounds kind of strange, but
no, I don't think so. It's funny because, and people who watched multiple episodes, they know that I've struggled with wealth over the years, and I've been working with a coach who I've interviewed and who which is Grace. And one of the things that she brought to my attention is that like love really kind of is the key, not just to your business, but to your own personal growth and development, and the key to wealth. Because if you don't love yourself or love your clients or love what you're doing, at least on some level, money is love. It really is just a whole. When you are bringing in money, it's showing that you love yourself. So if you look at money as love and your love, you're just going to attract more and more of that. And then, oh my gosh, like you just said, just spreading it out is what attracts more and more wealth. So it's not doing all these things or trying to come up with all this stuff. I mean, I definitely tend to overthink. I overthink a lot. But that's a whole other episode.
Right. That's another episode. We both could get into that one.
I know, right? Yeah. Maybe we will. Let's talk about all our overthinking issues, but we're solving those and we're replacing them with really just truly loving yourself, and not just like, I love myself, but like, wow, I really like being in this body. I really like doing what I'm doing. I like the things that I'm offering. And when you love yourself, then you value yourself. So if you don't value yourself, then it's a lot harder to take money from people.
This is true. You definitely need to value yourself, especially when you're in the arts or, dealing with the public, because everybody has an opinion. And keep that in mind that when they have an opinion, it is just that. It is their opinion. It is not your opinion. If you're
And it's
affected
not
by their
truth.
opinion, exactly. If you're affected by their opinion, then for some reason you've agreed with it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe, you have self-doubt or what have you. And, maybe somebody came up and said, oh my God, this is awful. You're horrible at this. And if you believe them, well, all of a sudden, you've agreed with them. And that's so unhealthy. Let's keep it in mind that people don't know you most of the time. They don't understand you. And they really should be, doing what Thumper from Bambi said. If you don't have anything nice to say, you say nothing at all,
Mhm.
But for the most part, it's your opinion that matters. It doesn't matter about anybody else's but yours. So keep that in mind, that just because somebody has expressed their opinion to you does not mean you have to agree with it. In fact,
Yeah.
most of the time you should not agree with it. And you should feel your own opinion in your heart, know and value yourself and move forward. So, a lot of the times I've been told, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, that really kind of gets me, because then I love to go against that. Like, oh yes, I can, like,
like, oh, really? Watch me.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I recently realized, and honest to God, this is very recent in the last couple months, that I've actually realized that there really can be multiple truths at the same time. And I just had never thought about it, because I was like, oh yeah, there's only one truth, and we're always, digging for the truth. But the truth is that there are multiple truths. Like, you have a truth about the way that you experience something, and I could experience the exact same thing, but my truth about it is like, it can be completely different. It could be, man, that was the best thing ever. And for someone else, it could be, that was the worst experience of my life. Two truths.
Yeah.
Same thing. You and I could both do something. We're like, oh my God, that was the greatest thing ever. So it really is interesting. And that's just something new that I just had never looked before, that I'm kind of really recognizing, is that, like, there are multiple truths. We are all different, and we're all experiencing this world and creating this world around us differently.
Yeah. And it really comes down to, like, how did you wake up that day? Did you have did you step on a tack and it started your day off wrong? Well, guess what? The rest of your day, if you let it, will go wrong. It'll just not be good. In fact, this used to happen to me quite often. If a baby came into the studio, this is back when I started, and the first child in that studio cried, I knew I was going to have the worst day the rest of the day. And it kept happening. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Well, come to find out, it was just me. It was just my mindset. And as soon as I figured that out and I changed my mindset, well, things changed completely. In fact, before a baby would come into the studio, I would use my EFT techniques, emotional freedom techniques. So we've talked about the fact that I tap, and part of my tapping is, just kind of like meditating almost before a session to make sure that I remove all my stress, especially if I'm working with a teeny baby, because I'm big and I have a lot of energy. And when you bring heavy and big energy to a small being, they can feel every bit of that. So if I feel stressed and anxious, then that poor little baby is going to feel that same way. No wonder they were crying, and once I got into doing EFT beforehand and releasing all of my stress, my babies, they sleep beautifully now. They move in the positions that I need them to. And it's just a completely different portrait session. But it's all because of, removing the energy that I had beforehand, the bad energy, getting rid of it, just dumping it beforehand. So it's just amazing, as we grow and we get older and we have all these ideas of what we should do and how things should be done, that I never really thought I'd move into this energy frequency portion of it for my life. But boy, does it make so much more sense, especially since I found phototherapy, really, really has changed me completely.
Yeah. And the way you do business. So, I mean, talk a little bit about that, because you and I do this together.
Yes, thank God you introduced me to it, because you introduced me to it, phototherapy, at a time where just
Yeah.
I was failing. I mean, like, not
No.
failing,
Yeah, you were
physically,
struggling.
but
You
failing.
were
I
having
was
some
struggling with,
hurdles.
oh, my my mind, my body. Things are changing in my life as we get older. They normally do.
Mhm.
And in this process, I just didn't feel like myself. And I was taking Tony Robbins' course because I was like, something's got to change, and I knew that it had to do with, moving your body and getting your mind into a different state. And, drugs and alcohol are not going to do it. So obviously I want to be pure to my body. I want to treat my body well. And that's why phototherapy works so well for me, for the fact that, it's non-transdermal. There's no chemicals involved. It's using my body's natural light to heal me. And this is what amazes me, is the fact that it's light that's healing me. And I'm a photographer. And what do I
I
work with?
know.
I work with light.
Like every
It's like
day. You
a perfect
understand light
combination.
more than most people.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. When I was taking Tony Robbins' course, he was talking about, rebuilding stem cells and how he rebuilt his body with stem cells. And then it went off. Oh my gosh, Michelle gave me a patch to rebuild my stem cells with back in September, and I never put it on. But I never let it go either. So
No.
I had it.
It was waiting for the right time.
Yes. So I had it in my case, my travel case. And so I put it on during one of his meditation pieces. And in the process of that and closing my eyes, I could see like these bubbles just going up, like carbonation and stuff. And I was like, ooh, I was like, wow, this is working. And I feel so much better. Now I sleep better. I handle stress so much better. Just a lot of differences have happened for me in wearing the patches. Just not too long ago, I wasn't feeling so great. And, I had a little cold going on because I go into the schools a lot, and I wasn't wearing my X39 for almost a week because I lost my bag of patches. So I keep them in a black bag and I set them down on something black. And so I couldn't find them.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh gosh, yeah. Then you're
Yeah.
out.
And then so you go day after day and they're like, all right, I'll find it tomorrow. I'll find it tomorrow. Well, now I'm sick. And so I'm like, all right, I need to find my patches because I know they help me. And I put those patches on, and within like an hour, I was up and moving around. I was cleaning my house. I did all the dishes, folded all the laundry, and I could even relax and read comfortably. So what a difference that makes. And it's not like you feel different when you when you have the patches. It feels natural.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it does. It's like a subtle bringing you back into natural balance.
Yeah. And I love the energy patches, especially when I'm going to do like photograph at a school, because we do school photography. So I'll put energy patches on, and it just keeps me upbeat and steady throughout the whole day. I don't have that lag in between. I don't. In fact, I'm still raring to go by the time I get home. And it's like, wow. And it doesn't, it doesn't feel like a caffeine rush or anything like that. It has a natural feel to it. Your body just recognizes that you can go further, longer, and stronger.
Yeah, and you don't need the caffeine or the energy drinks that are out there that are often loaded with sugar and God knows what else. I'm sure that I go look at the colors and I'm like, what gives in this stuff? It certainly can't be healthy.
Right. I've never really drank energy drinks. But I do love my coffee, but I only drink it black. So, but yeah, coffee is kind of like my thing.
Oh yeah. I definitely like I made some cold brew the other day, but I even noticed that my coffee intake has quite slagged off. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even drink coffee the way that I used to.
Right? You used to press it for me here back in Connecticut. You used to make me that nice prep. You did spoil me.
with the coffee and our beautiful salads I would make us.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. Right. That was the nice thing about having a full kitchen in the studio,
I
is the fact
know.
that
I
you could
know.
just stock it, and then people
Yeah.
like
Then at
Michelle would come in
lunchtime,
and make you an incredible lunch.
yes.
Like, perfect.
So fun fact about me, and Charlene knows that I can usually take anything in a refrigerator and make something out of it. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
You're
okay,
so creative like that.
I'll figure something out, something kind of healthy for us.
Yep. Oh my gosh. I have so many pictures of all the food that you've made
Oh
me.
my
I
gosh.
should put together a book about it.
Oh my God.
That was
Charlene and Michelle's lunch. It would be fun. Well, it'd be fun for us. Nobody else would probably care, but
yeah, maybe,
it
but
would be fun for us though. But I could get my culinary skills out there.
yeah, you're very creative when it comes to cooking, and just the combinations that you put together, that I would be like, oh, and it tastes so
Fun.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to this day, you still make some of the stuff I know that I've showed you that I make. So even better.
Yep. Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
spoken on some pretty good stages. And one of the things that I love that you do, because I've helped you with some of your presentations, is you get people right away into a visualization and some EFT. So like you said, if things aren't going right, all it sometimes does, all it sometimes it takes is for us to just stop for a moment, take a breath, and literally I call it like a reset. It's like you said, we got to reset, because if the day keeps going like this, yeah, it's not going to go that great. But isn't it nice to know that within an instant, within a minute, you could change the whole entire course of your day?
It's beautiful to know that there are techniques to help you do that. Not only just your day, but your goals,
Yeah,
moving forward. And it's as simple sometimes as taking a dry eraser and writing on your mirror,
mm,
writing on that mirror your goals. So when you get up every morning, you can see that right in front of you.
yeah,
And so every day, it kind of like, even if you just pass by it, it's up there, and it puts it back in your mind. And before you know it, within the 3, 6, even year that you've done this, you're achieving your goals, or you're that much closer to them. And it's just
yeah,
happening naturally because of the fact that you've put it in your path.
yeah.
So your body and your mind, and just look for those events and those moments.
Mhm. Well, and I would say this too, and I would love for you to share, because some people don't know, like I do. You have had a long career, and you've had a long career as an entrepreneur, facing lots of different things, having been in business. What is it, 25 years now? How is it, 25? You've owned your own studio for 25,
23 years.
23 years.
23 years.
Okay.
And I ran a studio for 10 prior to
Okay.
that. So
So
yeah.
23 years in the photography industry, and I know you, so you have readapted many times to be in business. Not all photographers can say that they have successfully run a studio for that long of a period of time. So you are definitely doing something right. So even for those photographers that may be listening, what can you share with everybody about? Because I know what I would say about the things that you've done, but I want to know what you're going to say.
Uh, yeah, I do feel like I have to reinvent myself quite often, just to be able to stay current with what's happening and what's going on. And really, for me, I like change, and I can handle and adapt to it well. But it's really important to enjoy what you do, and
Mm,
in every aspect of it, do your best. So long as you're always doing your best for whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to enjoy it. So why not try something new? Do your best at it, and you'll enjoy doing it. Even if it
yeah.
doesn't turn out amazing, at least you tried it, and you did your best at it. And the process was probably very educational, and
Mhm.
it just put you that much closer to, finding out what it is that you want to achieve from that. So during COVID, I had stepped away from doing commercial photography for a long time, but got a call to do some commercial product photography. And I was like, Absolutely. How exciting is this? So I had time to be able to get the product, to play with it, and I did some fun stuff with these pieces. In fact, I entered some of them into competitions, and they did beautifully. I mean, ranking beautiful high scores, which made me feel great. My company that I did the products for, they were thrilled. They have posters of them all up on their break room walls for their employees. So that was really nice. Yeah. Just changing and just moving with what's happening at the time. Before, in the past, I used to do a children's photo contest, and it slowly kind of just changed. Not as many people were interested in the children's portion of the contest. But guess what was taking off? The pet photo contest. That was screaming. It was going in a different direction.
Yeah.
So it's like the ebb and flow of business. Sometimes, there's changes in the industry for whatever reason. Maybe somebody else is doing it too, and they're doing it differently. And, so you're going to have ebb and flow, and just knowing that, and knowing that no matter what comes your way, you're going to do your best at, you're going to always enjoy what you do. And you're always going to be able to, just stay current and just move in that direction. Yeah. Because I think the first one for me, the biggest one, was going from film to digital. Everybody's digital now. So, but yeah, that was probably the hardest one for the photography industry. But also, we lost a lot of professional photographers back then during that time, and so that was tough. And the changes in the industry are still ongoing, and there's always something new to learn, and that's why I love to stay current in education. I love to make sure that I'm in the top of the educational pool, to make sure I'm at PPA, I'm at SYNC. Recently I went to SPAC for, the school and sports end of my business and stuff. And it was so exciting to see what everybody is doing and to hear how they're doing it. And everybody has a twist. Everybody has a different angle. Yeah. And it's knowing that, and knowing those people, and getting to know those people to help you grow your business in your small little town, or maybe in your big city. And sometimes it's not a matter of watching what's happening close to you in your community, but it's getting outside of your community and bringing things in. That's the big difference too. So any business, I would imagine,
and just adapting, because the truth is, and I think your film to digital was such a great example, there's some things that they're just not going to come back, and you either adapt or perish to a certain extent, or you're just not going to really love what you're doing as much anymore. And I think it's true with everything. Even the last 4 years, if we look back to 2020 to 2024, where we're sitting right now in April of 2024, people are doing business very differently. And those that didn't adapt, well, yeah, no, it kind of is. It's like, how do we survive as an entrepreneur in today's what seems like ever fast-paced world?
Right. Well, 2020 at this time last year, everybody was just starting to slow down because, everything shut down basically.
Yeah.
And I think it was that time in my life that I was like, whoa, it's the first time I really just was able to just relax and not worry about having to do anything. So that break helped me, because I was go, 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 go all the time. And that break of not being able to do anything and not being able to be in my schools or have customers come into the studio really gave me the opportunity to step back and relook at my business and figure out what are the changes that need to be made to strengthen it, and what are some of the things that bring me the most value. And I'm not talking money, but bring me the most value in regards to what I enjoy doing and what I want to do and where I want to go. So that was huge for me. I know it was a sad time too, because we lost so many people, professionals and friends due to COVID and stuff. But everybody made transitions and changes, and that helped me and my business grow still.
Yeah.
And I did fine through the rest of that year. So I didn't have to, collect. I was still able to do business, to get out there just differently,
Yeah.
take products and bring it into the studio and photograph it. I could photograph high school kids and people outside and still provide beautiful images. I think if anything, it helped me strengthen my posing, for the fact that,
Yeah.
I had to give better directions. So not that it strengthened my posing, but it strengthened my skill to tell people how to move and how to achieve the look that I was going for from a distance. So,
and I think it's streamlined things now that we're talking about, because I was helping you during that time. And I remember the kids with the schools, especially. I mean, I remember when you changed everything up and it was like, this is actually working better and faster. And it seemed more organized with the kids and everything. Because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, that could be a little chaotic with all those kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just going to online forms helped out tremendously, as far as people just placing their order online, because one of the biggest nightmares of school photography sometimes can be that order form. And the problem with the order form is it's going in a backpack, it's getting lost, it's not arriving to us, for weeks at a time, because it might have gotten shoved down in the very bottom of the backpack. Checks would bounce, credit cards, if they were on the things, wouldn't go through. So it just made it so much easier just to move it all online. That way, no matter who came through the line to be photographed, we didn't have to collect anything from them. It was paperless.
And it was quicker.
We photographed everyone regardless. And you know what? It doesn't matter anyway. We always take a good picture. We're always working to create a beautiful image of your child. We really want that expression, and we want that connection in the eyes, and we want to make their day too. So whether they're buying from me or not, I'm still going to try to make their day. I'm still going to try to get that great smile. I'm going to get that connection in the eyes with me. So that way, when mom sees that photograph and she looks at it, she knows there's a difference and there's a reason why. And it's basically because of the connection in the eyes. Yeah. They recognize that, because you can tell when a child's just looking through somebody, if somebody's not, if they just say to the kid, all right, yep, right here, take a picture, boom, and then you're done. Hello? What? No. That's not how I do it. But, it did help me to be able to spend that teeny bit more time with the kids, because of the fact that parents were placing orders online, and I didn't have to bother with all that paperwork coming through toward me.
And the kids don't have the answers, and they're all chased. So you want to get them in and out that line as fast as we can with minimal disruption.
Yes. Yeah. And not having to worry about, I left my paperwork at home. Some kids would cry if they forgot something. And so this way it was like, you don't even have to worry about it. Let's just have fun. Let's take a picture. And then parents could too. They could just go online, view the images afterwards. If they wanted more, boom. It was such a convenience, So I think that was one of the best moves in regards to streamlining my business, is being able to offer that service and do that.
And I think it's good, no matter what business you're in, is to take a look at your workflow or what you're doing, or what's out there new. I don't know what's been up with me lately, but I have in the last, I think, month invested, actually since January, I've invested in, I think, 4 new apps that are helping me streamline my business. All honestly not that expensive, but this one app, and I don't know why I didn't, I don't know why I didn't take advantage of it sooner, but I just used it the other day. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a game changer in my podcast. And I'm like, this is incredible, because it can allow me, using AI, to spit out shorts with minimal time and effort. Because as you're watching and listening, I do a little bit more of a long form content. So it's hard. It takes a lot of time to go through that and cut everything out to do shorts, and, to get myself more visible with my podcast. And for, I think, $60, I bought this little thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. If I'd had that a year ago when I started this, it would have been so different. So it's being open, and that's all part of our energy. If our energy is always closed off and, no, this is the way it's done, but being open to, well, okay, let me see. Okay, that doesn't fit in, but oh my gosh, this thing, what
right?
I think of that. So something, I don't know. I'm always one of those people that you kind of take what works for you and implement it the way that it works for you, and then just discard the rest. But it really is vital to the success of us entrepreneurs out here.
Some of the things AI is coming up with is kind of crazy. I am loving it to an extent and afraid of it in another. So
Yeah, it's all in how you use it. I think
it
it can
is.
be used for good and for bad. And
Yes.
definitely the way that I've been taking advantage of AI is for good. There is no, mass manipulation going on. No propaganda, just
I do.
helping with our daily tasks that take
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I love the chat GPT, I think it's called, right? Yeah. So like what I'll do is I might write something and then I will throw it over into chat GPT just
Mhm.
to see how
Yes.
it take what I originally created for content and reword it for me. And
Yeah.
sometimes it works beautifully and sometimes it's like, you
Yeah.
know. But for the most part, I love using it in that respect. In
Me
fact,
too.
my creative team, I encourage them to use it in that respect too, for the fact
Yeah.
that, we're trying to get information out to people all the time when it comes to our social media and our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, because we are on all three. And so sometimes kind of creating more content than just the little 3 sentence lines that we have, we'll take that of what we want to say and we'll put that into chat GPT, and then it will give us back something that might be like we might say elaborate on this a little bit, or help us tell the story better. And so it will fill it in just a little bit more, beef it up. And most of the time we're asking for hashtags, so and then it'll give us
Okay.
hashtags for it. So that's awesome. So then we'll copy that. We
Yeah.
might tweak it a little bit, move it over into our Facebook pages, and use that as part of uh, our post for that day, or for
Yeah.
for that week and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
As far as
Time saver.
exactly, it does help. And I just touched base a little bit about my creative team, and that this was something that was totally out of the box and different for me, was the fact that I wanted to take on some help at the studio, and I started to think about, how can I do this? How can I grow my business, and how can I grow somebody with my business? And part of that was creating a creative team. And so I was looking for like juniors or high school students who wanted to get into the field of photography. And we put out the feelers to all the schools and got a ton of applications back. I interviewed all of them. And I really was looking for like maybe 1 or 2 kids. I tell you, the pool was so good. I took 3 kids. So I was like, oh, and they are amazing. They all do something a little bit different, and they're growing and they're learning all the time. So for them, the way my studio works, it's just perfect, because we need somebody who can answer the phone beautifully, and they all do that so nicely. They know every aspect of my business now, that should I step out or be sick or something like that, they can pick up and just take off like that. They are fantastic with my customers, and I can't say enough about how much
Yeah.
fun it is to be able to have grown a creative team that probably I'm their first job for. So I also got to train them on how to be a good employee, or how to um, show up when it comes to being in the public eye and stuff. And they're doing
Yeah.
fantastic.
And especially with what you do, because it's different every day, you're teaching them just invaluable critical thinking skills. And I think that, just on my own personal side, I think that's very much a lacking in society today, especially with our younger generation, is the critical thinking. So I definitely applaud you, because these kids have no idea the critical thinking skills that they are getting, and they are problem solving their way out of so many different things. Because with you, it's not the same thing every day. I mean, you got the schools, you got the executives coming in, you got the Santa, you got the seasons. I mean, oh my gosh, you got the high school seniors. I mean, you're doing so much and you're constantly switching gears. And believe it or not, that is so good, I think, sometimes for our brains.
Oh, I love the fact that I don't do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a Gemini, so go figure, I have that twin side of me. So I can handle change when it comes to, doing one thing one day, something the next and stuff. And sometimes it's just exciting to know that, okay, I have an executive in the morning and I'm going to do a video podcast with Michelle in the afternoon. And then, this evening, I'm going to prep the studio for tomorrow's event. So it's fun. It's really nice.
Yeah, it is.
It keeps it exciting.
And you added the patches into there. Now you're selling patches
Yes.
to help
And
people
now-
get healthy and regenerate from the inside out. So it's like,
Yeah.
they're getting it all. They're getting amazing images and amazing
Mhm.
experience. They're improving their health.
And really phototherapy, it worked out so beautifully for me that I've added it as a product line in the studio. So if you did go to my website, you would actually find that I have a phototherapy tab within my website. And the reason why I added it was because it's helping me to show up. It's helping me to show up beautifully for my family, for my friends, for my business, and feel good about, just life, my job, everything.
Yeah.
So your mindset is definitely clearer because you're sleeping better at night. And it's like, yeah, who doesn't want that? It's perfect.
And we're anti-aging. We're boosting up all our collagen.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just doing it all, Charleen. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, it's been a year since I've been on the patches, and it's really been so good for me. I can't even think about what it was like before. But I will say this. I was out of school in Rocky Hill last year. Well, it was last year. It's like October 2023.
Okay.
And this little girl said to me, she goes, "Are you the same photographer as last year?" And I was like, "Yes." And because that was 2022. And 2022, I was not feeling good. I was struggling, and I had a lot of, age-related things happening. So I really wasn't in a great place. Although I thought I was doing fantastic. She told me that she enjoyed being photographed by me this year much more than the year before.
Aww.
And we're talking a third grader. Hello. Yeah. That's huge. And kids are so honest. And I love that about kids. And you know what? I agreed with her 100% because it was that year that made me realize I needed something. I needed help. And it was through Tony Robbins and that moment of finding that patch again and being on phototherapy patches. At that point in time, it was 10 months because it was a year in March that I've been using the patches. And I think it's safe to say that they definitely work. They've helped me. And I know that they can help others too, because a lot of people I feel struggle with showing up or feeling good. And they just, they don't want to deal with pills because I hate medication. I know it helps so many people. Don't get me wrong. I know this. And for me personally, I'd rather not pump my body full of chemicals because once you put one chemical in your body, you need another chemical to offset whatever the first one did. And it's a vicious, vicious cycle to me. And that's what I've experienced from other people who've shared their stories with me, to the fact that, I just know if I treat my body well, if I stay healthy, if I keep my energy level up, that I will stay healthy. And so that's why I moved to phototherapy. That's why I offer it now for anyone else who is in the same boat as me or feels the same way as me. They want to be able to live longer, kind of anti-age, look better, show up better. That's why I have phototherapy now as part of my process. And you know what, too, with all the changes in technology and AI and all these filters and stuff like that, I feel like it's going to cause a lot of depression because that is not who people are. And if they have to view themselves through these filters all the time to feel good, that is not a positive thing. And they need to recognize and feel good for themselves. And I think X39 is a fantastic patch for anyone who's feeling slightly off. If they're, just either stressed, depressed, or what have you, I just think it'll help them to think a little bit more clearly and kind of problem solve some of that too.
Yeah.
So,
and I think what you said, it kind of comes back to that self-love, because I've found that if I don't love myself, then how can I expect anybody else to love me either? And if I'm just, if I'm showing up and I'm looking in the mirror, seeing one thing, and then as you said, with all the filters and the other stuff, it's not even really me. Yeah, I actually hadn't. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. I think that's really interesting, actually. Yeah.
So, and granted, yes, I retouch photographs. I retouch them to the point of just kind of like smoothing skin a little bit, removing a pimple, kind of softening some of the eye bag. But if you go on to like TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, there are filters in there. And I used one recently, and I looked like a totally different person. It restructured my face, made my eyes bigger. I was like, whoa, it is beautiful, I guess, but it's not me.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. It's not you. So who are you showing up as? Are you showing up as filtered you, or are you showing up as the real you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole other episode.
Oh my gosh, right?
It really is. Yeah.
And
really
I think too, it's tough for teens right now who are already having, a hard time just kind of finding themselves and figuring out who they are, that now they have all these filters that are telling them they got to look like this. Really? Come on. I get it. I mean, I think those filters should be reserved for all of us older people who want to look
you've
younger.
Got so much coming at you, telling you who you should be, but how much is coming at you telling you to just be who you are, and be comfortable with that, but everybody's telling you, oh, well, you need to be this, you need to try on that, you need to do this. She's like, you know what?
That's your opinion.
Yeah. But how do you uncover the layers of who you are? I mean, I'll bet you most people, and especially this younger generation, how do you even know who you are if all you've been doing is trying on different filters, different costumes your whole life? Kind of crazy.
Right. Hey, there's this book called The 4 Agreements that I really think that every teenager should actually read. And it is it's an easy read, but it talks about, valuing what you say and how you say it, watching and paying attention to the words that you use, as well as, not taking things personally, being true to yourself, and just being the best that you can be, because it's within these 4 agreements that you're going to lead such a beautiful life, and you're going to be so much happier because you're not going to be trying to impress anybody else. You're going to have a core, that's going to give you the strength to be able to just push through that and to see around what other people are doing, so yeah.
And that's what we need too. Because if we can't even see the truth of who we are, how can we discern truth outside of ourselves with what our media is telling us, with what the education system is telling us, with what our, the politicians and all this other stuff. So if you can't even see the truth of who you are, you're going to have an awful hard time seeing the truth of what somebody else, a pharmaceutical, who knows what, is telling you as well.
Right.
Wow,
exactly.
I don't know how we got there, but
I know we got there.
Okay. Well, on that note, so I would love for you to tell people, how can they get in touch with you? What can you offer? I know you're doing some speaking, so if you would love to hire Charleen as a speaker, I know she would be more than happy to do that, whether it's online or in person.
Right.
But yeah, so tell us what you've been up to with that.
So we're working on some little videos to be able to go out to add to our library and collection of educational pieces for not only photographers, but for high school students who are looking to either step into the career of photography or just to even find a job. You know, where we really want to help our young, students to be able to feel confident when they go out there, because sometimes going after that first job can be kind of scary. And so we want to help you make it through those steps. So we have programs for high schools as well as for photography organizations and for businesses, for just any business, really. Because let's face it, you don't always find the solutions within the industry that you're looking at. You might find it just outside of it. And that's why I love to go to different events and to do different conferences and things like that. Lifeway absolutely helps me because it's totally different. It's a bit different. It ties into what I'm doing, but I've already been to a couple of their conferences, and just by stepping outside of the box and learning something different, I have different techniques and ideas that I can bring into my own business. So even though I am a professional photographer and I speak on photography quite often, I can speak on many different subjects just about, being in the business or how to look at your business differently. So that way you can have fun being a, entrepreneur and kind of make it more of a game than a daunting process sometimes.
Make it fun again.
Absolutely. And that's the whole key about, growing your business is you have to make it fun. You have to keep on building fun little pieces into it and reward yourself, pat yourself on the back, because I promise you, nobody else is going to do it. You're your own boss. Join organizations too that you can get involved with that are like-minded people who have the same passion as you. Because when you're in a room filled with passion and excitement like that, that's how things grow. I mean, look at us, Michelle. You and I, we hadn't seen each other in a few years, and we met back through BNI, and it was perfect. You built my website. We became best friends. We're still doing things together to this day. And it's really nice. But if you're looking to grow your business and you want to show up better, you need executive portraits. I can go on location. So I am not just a photographer in the New England area. I do travel, and I can travel across the United States, anywhere. I'll even go to other countries. I have a passport. But I can help your business show up better, and we can sit down and discuss what we want to do to help you, show up better, to look stronger, and to build your website, or to create a library of images that you're going to use throughout the year. Maybe you're even writing a book. So let's fill those pages. Yeah.
Because no matter what is out there, there's always an image that goes with it, no matter what it is. There's entire platforms built around images. So it doesn't matter where you are, there's always an image. And even before the smartphones and all the other stuff, there was still imagery. It's always been there, whether through drawings or photography, digital, film, you name it. It's a picture does tell 1,000 words.
It really does. It's a whole story. Wrap it up in one story, one picture. And, that's gold. That's definitely going to help promote you and sell you and make you the money that you deserve to be making. Just show up better, show up stronger. Yeah. And I'm at charleens.com. So it's easy to find. CHARLEENS.com.
I know you got that one a long time ago, sister. Good for you.
Listen, I have to thank my brother for that, because he was in the industry of digital technology long before I had ever even put a toe in, and before I even heard about digital cameras, and he had reserved that for me. So I'm pretty blessed to have a brother who had the foresight to reserve that name for me. So kudos to him.
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, oh my gosh, you look for that today, forget it.
Right. And I wasn't even on my own at that time.
He really didn't have the foresight.
I was working for somebody else, So
He knew your personality enough to be like, yeah, Charlene's not going to work for somebody for too long. She'll be out on her own. She'll be out on her own. And it just goes to show you that even though you are out on your own, like you were saying, like get together with other entrepreneurs because you truly do need that support as well. And it doesn't matter if it's in your field or not. Look at me and Charlene. I mean, yeah, we for sure complement each other with the graphic design stuff. But
right.
I don't know, we just enjoy supporting each other's businesses and just being friends and hanging out and doing stuff together.
Yes. Yeah. Our different ventures. You're
Yeah.
always bringing something creative and fun to the table, which is so cool, and definitely getting me out of my comfort zone on some things, which is
Can
pretty
be a
cool.
little kooky sometimes. But anyway, well, Charleens.com, be sure to check her out. I want to have you back because we can get into a whole episode on the whole other stuff that we just sort of tiptoed into. So I'd love to explore that a little bit more. But in the meantime, go to charleens.com. And thank you so much for taking the time today to come on. And you look amazing. So thank you so much.
And so do you. I miss you. We'll have to do another beach day again soon.
Well, we've already got some stuff coming up. So we've already have some stuff planned. So that's all good.
Yep. Perfect.
Yes. All right.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. And until next time, this is Michelle Blaze with The Wealth Within Us.